Welcome to Season 4 of the Ward's Way podcast. So we're here live in Manteo, North Carolina at the 22nd Annual Carolina Boat Builder Foundation Tournament. Join us as we celebrate 75 years in business, and we're just getting started. Welcome to Season 4 of the Ward's Way podcast. We're here in Manteo, North Carolina at the 22nd Annual Boat Builders Fishing Tournament. I'm here today with my friend Justin Bateman, and he's with the podcast host for Outer Banks This Week. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it. I walked up and I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Oh my gosh. So tell me about Outer Banks This Week. Tell me about your podcast, and we're here to learn. We're here to learn. And
all right, so Outer Banks This Week podcast and Outer Banks This Week, great question. Outer Banks This Week is a company here in Manteo that specializes in marketing and advertising. Okay, we specialize in eat, shop, play, and stay. That's what we call it.
Okay.
For things to do on the Outer Banks. Okay, whether you're here on vacation, whether you're a local just trying to find different things and activities.
Sure.
We specialize in all of that. You can find it all online at outerbanksthisweek.com.
Okay.
A few years ago, and I just started working for this company within the last 3 years, they approached me about doing a podcast because I come from a radio background. I'd stopped doing radio and was just working a different job, and they said, hey, we're thinking about starting up this podcast. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And they were like, we want you to be the host. And I was like, okay, what's it about? And they were like, we want it to be nothing but Outer Banks related things.
Okay.
Whether it be restaurants, places to go, fishing, boats, whatever the case may be, anything Outer Banks related. So I said, okay, let's give this thing a go. And we are 124 episodes in.
Awesome.
I do one a week.
Okay. So you're a couple years into it then?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, ma'am. It's been a lot of fun. It's been an adventure.
How has it changed? Sorry, I'm going to kill your train of thought. But
that's okay.
Episode 1 to episode 124, how do you think it's changed?
I can tell you a lot of different ways it's changed. So I started out with a co-host.
Okay.
And that kind of, that things happen there.
Okay.
It happens.
Okay.
You know, it's just the way the world is. And then I was kind of I grabbed the bull by the horns and was having to do a lot of it myself. And as far as changing is concerned, figuring out what people wanted to hear, what people wanted to listen to. And I'm still kind of figuring some of that stuff out. It's a guessing game every week, but I've found a niche where I can go to if I have any issues or my numbers are getting low or whatever, because I always look at my numbers, and that's how we, in sales, you got to look at those numbers. I mean, you understand some of that.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at my numbers, and like I found out that if I do more.
I was going to say, what's the most popular? What do people tune in the most for? Yeah, which probably won't be what I think it is.
Well,
so
in 2024, my most popular one has been bar etiquette.
Okay.
Really? How to properly act at a bar on the Outer Banks. And I interviewed a gentleman named Mr. Travis Tyler from Outer Banks Brewing Station.
Okay.
And anytime I do those along with real estate updates.
All right.
About the real estate forecast, rentals, sales, stuff like that.
Because I'm sure that's hot here.
It is. And my wife is what's the correct title? I'm going to mess this up. She is the Director of Business Development for Beach Realty in Kitty Hawk.
Okay.
And they got a couple different locations, and I have one of her property management friends come in and talk to me about stuff.
Okay.
That always tends to be a hot one. Anytime I do anything on location, like here at Pirates Cove.
I was going to say, what about fishing?
Fishing.
Let's talk about fishing.
Yeah, so we have our own channel specifically for fishing.
Okay,
now, Captain Marty.
Okay.
I think I was telling you a bit about him a minute ago. Captain Marty started out in FM radio. He really actually started. Hey, what's up, Dennis? Sorry, I know a lot of people here.
Hey, this
Dennis,
is where we are.
He's one of the managers of Blue Water Grill. Great place to eat, by the way. Captain Marty, charter captain from back in the 70s, moved up here from Florida, actually Ponce Inlet.
Okay.
He moved up here, started down in Hatteras, ran charter boats out of Oregon Inlet for years and years, had his own bait and tackle shop, hunting store in Nags Head.
Wow.
And then he he worked for Marine Fisheries for a while, retired from that, and he's been he did FM radio for 26 years.
Wow.
And he did fishing reports and told his stories from fishing and everything on the radio. Well, things went south there with something, things happen.
Things change.
Things happen, things change. And I worked with him in the radio world, and I called him, and he was talking to me about some of it. I said, Marty, there might be some opportunity for you to do.
Tell some of those stories.
Yes, and do the stories. We could record them, save them, keep them. Same thing with your fishing reports. We could relaunch your show. And I got my bosses together with him, and they reached an agreement, and here we are. I've been doing things with Captain Marty now for about a year and a half.
Great.
And he is a wealth of knowledge. He's got his own podcast channel, the Captain Marty.
Yeah, please plug it.
Yeah, you can check him out. He's on, just like my podcast, is on all your major podcast platforms. Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all of them.
So if I'm tuning into Captain Marty, what am I going to learn? I'm going to learn
You're
where the fish is, where
fishing reports from Hatteras all the way up here to Kerala, all else in between. Offshore, nearshore, inshore, peer reports, surf reports, sound reports. He covers it all. He covers it all, and he does a fantastic job. He's one of my dear friends, and I think the world of him. And we also, like I said, with his fishing stories a lot of times really gain a lot of traction because he's telling about tales from when he was out fishing and different things that happened. Some of them are funny. Some of them are like, oh my gosh.
How did you survive?
And some of them are kind of, sad in some ways, like different things that happen offshore with people, But he tells them in such a way that he's very captivating with his words, and he does such a fantastic job with it. And I couldn't be happier to be working with him again in this arena. And I'm kind of like his personal assistant in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Just to give you an example, last year during the Boat Builders tournament, I stopped by just to check on him, and he was like, "I'm so glad you're here." I'm like, "What's the matter, Marty?" He's like, "I need you to get a prescription for me from CVS." And I was like, "Yes, Marty." And we travel around. I take him back and forth to the doctor's appointments if he needs them and stuff like that. So, he's a dear friend of mine. We go to church together sometimes.
Nice. So why does he do the weigh-ins for this particular tournament? Is it because it's the Builders tournament? Is it the scholarship element?
Well,
is it?
There's a lot of that, yes.
Yep.
And the fact that he also has been highly involved with tournaments over the years.
Gotcha.
After he stopped charter fishing and had his store and everything like that, he started doing a lot of the things with the Pirates Cove Big Game Tournament.
Gotcha.
And then they brought him in to do the Boat Builders Tournament as well, to be the weighmaster, to help keep the score. And he has already such a deep rapport with a lot of the captains. And he and John Bayliss have been best friends since they moved to the Outer Banks. They lived together for a long time.
Nice.
They fished together on the Tar Heel. When John was captain of the Tar Heel and had that boat, Marty was his mate. I mean, the deepness of that friend, the depth there is unfathomable between the two of them.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the stories that Marty tells on his channel, on his podcast, involve John Bayliss. 85% of those stories, he'd be like, so we were on the Pelican, excuse me, that was a different boat. We were on the Tar Heel, and John was, up at the helm and, tell a whole story.
Starts going.
Yes, I mean.
Does he ever try to keep it secret, like to save anybody, or is he just out with everybody?
No, he's out with it all, but I will tell you, I have, I see John daily. John has Roanoke Island Fitness Lab in Manteo, CrossFit gym, and I work out there. Okay. And I see John most mornings.
Okay.
And he'll tell a story, Marty will, and I'll recorded it and edited it, and I'll go ask John about that story, and John will be like,
"Now wait a minute,
I don't remember it like that." You know what I mean? So
is it like the fishing stories that get bigger and bigger and bigger?
In a lot of ways.
Just get a lot of
In a lot of ways, yes, and it's hilarious because I want to get them together one day to tell stories back and forth and hear Marty's version and John's version and see where the similarities are.
Well, let me say this: how about we do it here? And if it backfires, I'll get them both together. Then you'll know what to do. We could be your dry run.
I would be totally comfortable with that.
We're going to do that dry run here.
I would be totally comfortable with that.
We'll get it going.
That would be great. But that all in all, I mean, with Outer Banks this week, and again, my podcast on all of those podcast platforms, just like Captain Marty's, and online at outerbanksthisweek.com. That's kind of where it's at.
Do you have you ever heard a story or learned something that you were surprised by? Is there anything that surprised you? Give me the most recent that surprised you.
Okay, so the one that sticks out in my head,
and
I'll tell you a quick Marty story. I won't give you make the long story short. At one point, Marty's mate on his charter boat out of Oregon Inlet was the heir to the Coors beer, the Coors Brewery fortune, and all that, and the whole thing there.
Sure.
The gentleman that you saw walk by a minute ago, Mr. Gary Oliver, had a charter boat as well. Well, Marty had the charter itself, the people that were on the boat. He never really liked anybody to be up in the bridge because he needed to be focused and figure out where he was going. But for one reason or another that day, he let him up on the bridge, and they were talking to him. Well, his mate, the heir to the throne of course, was down doing some things, and Gary Oliver could probably tell the story a lot better than me, but I am going to try to do it, and he's right behind you right now.
All right.
So apparently the way it works was the mate threw a bucket, had a rope tied to a bucket, was trying to get some water from while they were steaming offshore, and the bucket took loose out of his hand because they were doing,
I'm sure.
I don't know, 45 knots or so, and the rope was wrapped around his foot, and he went overboard with it. Marty, not knowing, not paying, was upstairs, and the charter occupied him, and he did not know. Well, lo and behold, not long, I don't know how long it had been, a couple hours, maybe an hour, I don't know. Gary Oliver's coming in his boat with some of his cronies, and they see this bucket and somebody holding on to this bucket. Am I telling it right, boss? He's right.
Okay.
And they stop and pick him up. Gary grabs the radio. He's like, "Hey, Marty," calls him on the radio. And Marty's like, "Hey, Gary." And he's like, "Well, are you missing anything?" And Marty's like, "I don't know." He said, "Why don't you go look down in the cockpit?" And Marty looks over in the cockpit, and his blood ran cold.
Oh, no.
He's like, "Oh, my God." Yeah, Gary's like, "Don't worry, I got him. I'll bring him to you."
Special delivery.
And it's like,
there you go. And he jumped off. Wow.
See? So that's just an example of a story that Marty tells on his channel. Brad Kors. There we go. I couldn't think of his first name. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
Well, you see, that is one that is funny. I can't believe that you could miss somebody for that long, and you just happen to be coming along and find him.
He had one guy on the party with him.
Oh, goodness.
One guy was up the flying bridge.
That's up in the flying. Okay.
So they were looking at the sun coming up,
Yeah.
Not looking back.
Yeah, and and the thing is, that's like in my way I think about it, that was like an act of God that he led
100%.
Gary that direction.
Should have seen him jump in the boat.
I bet.
I mean, we were afraid he'd be dehydrated.
Yeah.
He jumped in the boat. And said,
He's good.
We said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm on that boat right up there."
Oh gosh, well, like I said, that's just an example. Thanks, boss. Yeah, your turn's coming up here in just a minute, so.
It's coming.
I got a board meeting for you.
Oh.
Okay. He lives right around the corner, so he'll probably be here again tomorrow night. But anyway, that's just an example of what you can hear on Marty's channel.
But you're right. To lose somebody off the boat and to have another boat come along and find him, I think is great. I mean, it's great that everything worked out, but
Yes.
it is one of those stories that you wonder. And
Absolutely, and Marty's probably going to kill me for telling that story.
That's
but
all right.
he's already told it. It's out there on his channel, so if you want to listen to it, it's
well,
Man
now
Overboard.
we just had it third party corroborated.
Yes.
So
There's truth
no
to it.
harm. There's no harm.
But that's the one that really sticks out in my head of one of his stories. I mean, he's got many of them, though. I mean, you can go, again, if you go to, the best way to find all those stories and you can scroll through them is to go to outerbanksthisweek.com and click on the Captain Marty tab. And if that's too much to think about, go to Google and type in the word Captain and the word Marty, and it's the first thing that pops up.
Thank you for joining us this season of the Ward's Way podcast. Be sure you subscribe because there's much more to come.